Hello and welcome to another pattern recognition video. So today I'll do at least 5 puzzles, maybe 10, depending how long each each puzzle takes in the video. So if you're not familiar with pattern recognition, you want to solve a set of puzzles, whether it's 5 or 10 or 100. And the idea is to go over them multiple times, because if you just go over a puzzle once, you'll most likely forget the tactic or pattern that you've seen. But if you go over it multiple times, the ideal is 7 times to cement something into your long-term memory. But let's start the puzzles. You can pause at any time if you need to think longer. Now, these are advanced level from players rated 1800 to 2000. So if you're above that and they're too easy, I will have some more difficult puzzles in the future. If you're lower rated than that, you can give these a try and just see how you do. So where do you begin? Well, first you probably want to look at what the opponent's move was. It looks like he just moved a bishop back. He retreated it from here to here because it was under attack by this pawn. If you're thinking, why didn't he just take it? Well, I guess a number of reasons. You could capture here, and if he tries to recapture, you could go there and capture that for free. So the player retreats. There's no threat. Do they have any checks, captures, or threats against you? Nothing that I can see. You also want to take a look at the material, perhaps, to see if you want to trade down into an endgame or not. Let's see here. We have 5 pawns. Our opponent has, 2, 4, 6. So they're up a pawn. And they have the bishop pair. The rest of the material is equal. So, maybe we want to think about taking that. Now, generally, if you want to follow a good system, you want to look at checks, captures, and threats in that order. Checks first, as they're the most forcing, and it doesn't look like we have any checks possible. Captures, you want to look at any unprotected pieces. So they have quite a few unprotected pieces. Is there a way to take advantage of that? I don't see any way to go after those pieces other than maybe we push this pawn or we capture, one or the other. If we capture, maybe there's an idea of going here, trying to take advantage, forking these two pieces. If the rook would capture here, our pawn would recapture and promote. Although they could ignore that. So if we capture here, they could go here. Maybe, no, I guess they can't, of course, because our pawn is going to be there. Okay, so maybe that is the best move. The other option might be to push forward and immediately attack the rook. And then that would allow us to just take this pawn. And that is more forcing. If we go there, then we could immediately attack with our bishop. So a good piece of advice is to push a passed pawn when you have it. I mean, here, if we capture it, kind of blockades the pawn. So maybe it's best to just go there. And then we can attack. So we just grab extra material after that. All right, well, hopefully you did well in that puzzle. And I had a great piece of advice by a viewer that wanted me to pull up the analysis whenever I make a move and it's an incorrect move. So, hopefully I'll remember if that happens to pull up the computer analysis and see why that move was bad. Because apparently in a puzzle I had a problem where the move looked decent, but the computer said that was not the correct move. Maybe it was a good move, but not the best move. All right. Puzzle number 2 here. What do we have? the opponent's move, he steps the king forward, which I guess he's protecting this pawn, which the queen is attacking. So, what do we do now? Well, we can count up the material, see if we're ahead or behind. We have 6 pawns. Our opponent has 5. We both have 2 rooks and a queen, but they have the extra bishop. Wow. Okay, so we need to do something in a hurry or we're just going to end up losing. So, if we look at checks, if we go here, we would just exchange queens and that kind of helps our opponent. Is there a way to trap this rook? No, I don't see it. Well, I was wondering if we have some kind of attack on the rook, but if we want to play something forcing, we could go here. And then if the king takes, I was thinking we move up here and check, but then the king would go right back where he is. So maybe once we go here, it's better to go after that pawn with check. And our rook prevents the king from moving onto the e-file. So the king would have to move here, and then we can deliver a mate. So capture, check, and then mate. So that was an interesting little mate pattern. I don't think I see that too often, but hopefully you can go over that and remember it for your own games. All right, on to puzzle number 3. So the queen has done what? Dropped back, creating a battery, threatening a check here perhaps, but also attacking our bishop. Now, if we're checked by the queen, we can't remember whenever you're in check, there are 3 options: capture, block, or run. So when the pieces are side by side like this, if the queen moved to h2, we can't block that, of course, and there's no way to capture, so we'd have to run. They could, well, after that the attack kind of fizzles out. So we'd probably have to defend this bishop. How can we best do that? Obvious move might be to just push that pawn. But, do we have anything more forcing? Maybe we sacrifice our rook. But it's not really a sacrifice. What if we go there and then we're threatening mate on the next move? If the queen captured, well, then our bishop could pin. We'd pin the queen. So, if the king captures here, then we could capture with our queen, delivering a check. But then, do we have a good follow-up after that? I don't know if we have a good follow-up if the king captures. So maybe this doesn't work. If we go there and he takes, What do we do then? Oh, we could capture with our bishop. Yeah, we don't want to capture with the queen. He could just block with his queen, I guess. This is where it gets tricky. So I think that might be the move to play. But, we might want to take a look at, you definitely want to keep an eye on checks. So if they check us and we run, there's not really a follow-up after that, is there? I mean, if their bishop comes down, we can drop back and capture. Oh, wait a minute. What am I thinking? Hold on. So, check. We go here. He checks with his bishop. Or, no, he doesn't want to drop back with the queen because then we could capture, here the bishop would capture and then our king would capture their bishop. So, yeah, I don't think that's a threat. If they go there, we can just run with our king up to here. Okay, so we have to look at capturing. The queen can't capture because then we can just pin it with the bishop right here by capturing that, and it's protected by our queen. So after the rook captures, the king would have to capture, and now if we capture with the queen, then what? The king cannot go anywhere except here. And then our queen could deliver a check. Okay, this is getting confusing. So capture the pawn, king captures, queen captures. The king has to go here. We could deliver a check here, forcing the king to go there. We could capture the pawn. Then the king is going to start running. All right, let's get on with this. So they go there. Now that's an easy win. So I'm going to pull up the analysis because I want to see what would happen if after this move they take with the king. And it looks like that is, well, no, it's not even saying that's the best move. Okay, if they did that, oh, there's a mate in 4 after queen captures. King has to go to f8. Queen to g8, king to e7. Oh, we go here instead of going after the pawn. And the only move possible is what? King to d6. And then we have a mate here. All right. So that is why that wasn't played. All right, back to puzzle number 4. Or not back to, forward to puzzle number 4. All right, what is happening here? Why did our opponent make that move? I'm not sure why that move was made. They wanted to get the queen in the center, but, I mean, maybe you would want to go up here and attack the unprotected rook. Anyway, they've moved to d1. Excuse me. All right. Well, it's our move if we look at the material, we have 3 pawns, our opponent has 3. We both have a minor piece, a rook, and a queen. Our king is barricaded in pretty good, but, you know, there's this possibility. Why didn't they do that immediately? You know, they could bring the rook there and threaten to capture. Or, you know, why didn't they just go here? Maybe they can pile up on that. Well, this is pinned. Okay, white to move. We want to look at checks, captures, and threats in that order. Checks first. So, what can we do? How can we check? I mean, is there a way? Is there any reason to sacrifice here? Oh, and all right, I see another reason they went there. They're attacking our rook. But I was thinking we could sacrifice, but then do we have any kind of follow-up? If the king takes, and we could go there, start chasing that king around. But, you know, if the king runs, excuse me, if after he captures, if we check with our queen here, he could just go back there, and we can't go there because his queen is covering that. So that might be another reason he went there. And remember, you always want to centralize your queen when you can. It has more influence over the entire board that way. So, you know, maybe that is the move. We go there and we just threaten to take the bishop with check. How does he defend that? I mean, well, I guess he could go there. But then we could push this pawn. He could take, though. No, he can't. He can't take that pawn. So I think that's the way to go. Go there. All right, and now we can block with that pawn. He cannot take that pawn because of this pin to the bishop. We could just capture his queen. So if we go here, we're attacking. Oh, and we block the threat of a mate by doing that as well. All right. Well, hopefully you found that one. It was played by an 1860 rated player. On to puzzle number 5. And maybe I'll end it there. I don't know. We'll see if this is a quick and easy puzzle here or if it takes a while. Maybe I'll do 10 puzzles. All right. So what do we have? A pawn is pushing forward, trying to, you know, get closer to promoting. We're down a pawn. We can start running up the board with our own pawn, but they'll queen first. So what do we do? I mean, do we just start pressing forward? You know, then they go forward. We could take time out to go there, but then they could go here, and that's not so good for us. So if we just start racing, if we go there, they go here, we're one square away. Oh, now, when they promote, we do have a promotion with check. So that's a good advantage for us. So we push our pawn, they push theirs. We push forward, they promote. They're attacking our rook. but we promote with check. The king has to step forward. And how do we take advantage of that? So we go here, we press forward, they promote, attacking our rook, but we promote with check. The king has to step forward, and he has 3 squares to go to. How can we most take advantage of that? Man, I'm thinking that's the best way to go, but we have to make sure that we can start chasing that king all around the board. Okay, to keep the video moving, that's what I'm going to do. Huh. So he goes that way instead. That just changes things up. I mean, we can just continue to press forward, I believe, but then our king is going to be on the run. Now we can block, though. We can just block that way. And now we're easily winning. Huh. Now why didn't they... Well, okay, even if they pushed their pawn, we would have promoted with a check. So they decided to move their king first. All right, I want to go back and look at the very beginning of this puzzle. So we go here. What if they don't move that rook? What if they just keep promoting or keep pushing to promote? Okay, then we go here. Now it says that's the inaccuracy, that wasn't best. But they promote to a queen. They're attacking our rook. But we promote with check. So how do we play this out in the best way to get a winning position? It looks like they should play king to c7. I mean, they have to come forward. Now what do they recommend? Oh, wow, look at this move. We go here with check, and we're lined up on this so we can check with the rook and take that queen next. So, you know, wherever the king goes, they recommend going here. Well, now we have this check. And then we'll grab the... we'll grab the queen. All right. Well, hopefully you did well on that. Let's move on to... I guess I'll try 5 more here. These kind of went quickly. Hopefully this video won't be too long. So enough talking, and let's move on. All right. Queen has moved over. Why? Because our bishop was attacking it. Now, oh, and also there's this threat, moving here and going for the checkmate. So we could... How do we deal with that? Oh, okay. Hopefully you found the answer here. Take a look at it. Pause if you need to think longer. But if not, it looks like we just have a simple fork. Checking the king, and then we can grab the queen. So hopefully you found that. Oh, hold on. Oh, they can go after us. Okay, I just moved too fast. So our queen is under attack now. So what we need to do is grab that first, then take the queen. So just a reminder, don't play on autopilot and make fast moves, or you could end up wrecking a good position there. Okay, on to puzzle number 7. What do we have here? A capture? Oh, with a discovered attack on this rook. So, oh, and if we take, they'll grab our queen. Wow. Huh. This just looks nuts. There's a lot going on here. So what do? Well, I mean, we could look at the material real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pawns for us. The opponent has 6, so they're ahead by a pawn, which they just captured there, I think. And the rest of the material is equal, but wow, they have pieces piling up on that rook. I mean, we could just go after their knight, but then they're going to grab that. Is there any kind of crazy back rank mate situation? I don't see anything. Man. Yeah, this is a tricky one here. Hopefully you're finding it faster than I am. Okay, the problem is that if we just take the knight, they could capture here, attacking our queen, trying to trade even more pieces. Or wait, do we want them to do that? Because, well, they'll be ahead in material after they grab this rook. Because if we grab the knight, they'll have a rook for the bishop. So maybe, man, do we let them grab our queen? There's nothing we can do. I mean, if we go there, they'll take, they're attacking our bishop then. Wow, this is a tough one. What am I overlooking here? You know, the king's way over here in the corner. If there was some back rank mate opportunity, you know, and we can't even defend by going here, the knight would just capture us. So maybe if we defend with our queen, they're just going to take anyway. You know, maybe with the rook and capture. Okay. Can we drop back here? Like that? If we drop back, we defend our queen and we save the attack on the rook. So if we go there, I mean, that doesn't look like the greatest move. They could just take our queen, we take, and then that knight can kind of run to safety. And that doesn't look very forcing either. Oh, maybe we threaten the back rank mate and attack the queen at the same time by going there. If they take, well, then we grab their queen. If they grab our queen, well, then we capture their rook. I think that's the way to go. So here, the only option is for them to defend with the queen. We would take, they take, and then that gives us time to grab the knight, and then we're just ahead in material. All right, let's keep this moving along. On to puzzle number 8. Looks like the bishop, did it just capture a pawn there? And now it's threatening to mow all our pawns down. But the good news for us is that our pawn, we have 2 passed pawns here. So maybe can we Do we push immediately, or do we have to get our king involved? If we go here, he could chase us, so maybe we don't want to do that. So maybe we go there. The king, if he tries to blockade, well, then we go that way and we start pushing that pawn. But if we go here, he might go this way to prevent our king from coming forward. But maybe we can just promote. He captures. We bring our king up, and then we can escort our pawn. So I think that works. Oh, me. All right. So now we just escort this forward. We have a check, another check, and our queen will just start annihilating the pawns. And so what does he do here? I don't know. I mean, you should be able to win pretty easy with this queen. I'm guessing you're going to go here, and then the king will just be stuck on the back rank there. Oh, and we're defending this pawn as well. So then we would just be able to start maneuvering our king over. Okay, moving on to puzzle number 9. What do we have here? The knight has just dropped back. I don't know if that's such a great move. Why would you play that move? All right. Well, material-wise, nothing has been captured, I don't think. But white has this big advantage of 3 developed pieces, and the king's ready to castle. And the opponent has 1 developed knight that they just moved back to a worse square. So, what do we do here? We want to look at checks, captures, and threats. So if we look at checks first, there's this bishop lined up on the weak F pawn, which you always have to keep an eye on that F pawn because the only thing protecting it is the king. So that looks really dangerous. If we take, it's such a forcing move. You can't block that or run. The king has, well, I guess he can capture. That's the only thing he can do. And then what? We continue with a check maybe by the knight. And that unleashes our queen as well. Oh, this seems to be a familiar pattern. So if we go there, the king captures, we deliver an attack on the king. If the king goes back to where he was, well, then we can jump to this outpost and the queen is trapped. So once we take and the king takes and we deliver a check, the king kind of has to come out into the open, which is not good at all. So, of course, this is what we're going to do. So we lure the king out. Oh, now his queen is just trapped. So let's see what would have happened if he came out further. So check, capture, check again. Now what if the king comes forward? G6. What if he went to E4? That's not looking good at all. I mean, because then we can deliver a check with the queen. But even if he went to G6, they recommend that we attack that queen. All right, first of all, I'm going to look at this. Oh, wait, he can't even go out there to E6 because of the knight. So what about F6? That's a mate in 4, starting with this move. Okay, first of all, we saw that if he goes king to E8, then we're just going to trap his queen. If he plays, well, let's look at the checkmate first. Mate in 4. If he goes there, we have a check. If he goes to g6, okay, let's look at what happens if he takes that. Well, then we have d4 check. King goes to g6 or h4, but either way, the queen is going to deliver a mate there. So if he goes to g6, then we have the great pattern where we go here, and we're attacking, and we're also covering these different angles, and the bishop is helping. So if he goes to h4, then what? Queen to h3. Wow, that really does it. We would just go there, and with the help of our bishop, prevents the king from moving back. Okay, so that is if he went to f6. So at this point, what if he played g6? Well, then they recommend knight to e6, attacking the queen, because that's a really forcing move. So, I mean, you think the queen would move. Oh, but then if the queen goes there, we can fork, attacking the queen and the rook. So they actually recommend h5, and then we just grab the queen. So if they were to go here, now what's the best move? Actually, the best move is not to fork the rook and the queen, but to drop back to g4 with check. Oh, okay, hold on. That wasn't g4. Queen to g4, sorry. Yeah, this makes more sense. So we deliver a check. The king does not want to go here, or it's checkmate with the queen. Man, everything is bad here. If they go there, we play queen to f5. Now they can block like that, but we have knight to g5 check. Oh man, king to g8, queen to e6. The queen blocks, and then we deliver a mate. Okay, yeah, that's really crazy. I mean, hopefully you saw some of that. To keep the video moving, I better move on to the final puzzle here. So we're jumping to puzzle number 10. A pawn has just captured one of our pawns. Okay. Now, if we look at the material, at this point, we have 6 pawns. Our opponent has 6, and we both have a queen, 2 rooks, and a knight. Do we have any checks? Yes, we do have a check. We don't want to go there. We could go there, but the queen would just capture us. But then we could capture that. But, they could grab this pawn. All right. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's best. If we go there with check, the opponent doesn't have to capture. He could just move the king. If he does that, then what? Well, then we would just be able to capture that pawn. So if we go there, he's probably going to take. Then if we take, he'll grab that. Huh. All right. can we do here? Another obvious move might be to just take. Do we just grab that pawn? Okay, what am I missing in this position? What if we attack the queen? Maybe that is what it's all about. But if we attack, if he goes there, then we just grab that. But then there's a fork here. Oh, and we have the knight check to get out of that fork. Okay, so maybe that's the move. If we go there, oh, if he tries to drop back here to protect the knight, we can fork the king and queen. So I think that's the way to go. All right, that's what they want. Although, now if we take and they deliver that, oh, we have a check that way. Okay, so we go after that. Now we have this check over here. I think that saves us if we go there. Okay, now we have to protect the knight with our queen. So we go here. If they take, our pawn takes. So I think we have to go there. Okay. Yeah, and we just end up a knight ahead there. Okay, well, that was a 1980, or it was played by a 1980 rated player. I hope you did well on these puzzles. So as always, feel free to leave any comments. I always enjoy hearing what you have to say. Check out some of the other videos that I have. You know, I think I've like over 1,100 videos now on the channel, so you can check those out. And if there's something you specifically want to see, you can leave a request. And I'll try and do, whatever it is that you want to see. Also, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching, and have a super chess day.